Good morning from the beautiful city of Zurich. I'm taking the train from here down into the Swiss Alps. I'm going to be getting on the Bernina Express, one of the most beautiful and scenic railway journeys of the world. Hope you join me on this trip. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll catch you a little bit later in the video. Cheers for now.
The first part of my journey was to catch a train from Zurich to Chur, where it connects with the Bernina Express. I'd managed to purchase a cheap ticket using a perfectly legitimate travel hack which reduced the fare significantly. I'll explain more about that later on. I was pleased to see that the restaurant car was attached and open for business. This was quite an early start for me, and I'd skipped breakfast at the hotel. A second class travel for this part of the journey of just over an hour is perfectly adequate. Nice and clean. You must wear a face covering on the train, although you can take it off when eating in the restaurant car. I like the retro look and feel of the restaurant car. I'm not sure how old they are. If you have any idea, leave a comment below. On arrival at Chur, it's a quick cross-platform change to the waiting Bernina Express. Now, the majority of the actual Bernina Express consists of observation carriages, and there is an extra cost associated with reserving a seat in one of those. I opted for the 3-car unit at the front of the train, which was much quieter. A massive advantage with this part of the train is that you can lower the windows and get some great photos of the alpine scenery outside. Now, the coaches themselves are very smart, with a map of many of the Swiss scenic railways printed on the tables between the seats. There's also a running commentary of the major sites en route, which I presume is the same as you get in the more expensive carriages behind. As the train starts to climb, we follow the Rhine Valley, crossing the famous Landwasser viaduct before reaching the town of Brusio. Well guys, I'm on the most amazing train journey today. The Bernina Express. Just made our way up to Alpgrum and now we're descending down into Tirano. I've got to say, this is a fantastic journey. If anybody wants to try it, I would definitely recommend taking the 3 cars at the front of the Bernina Express. You can wind the windows down, have a look out the window. It's brilliant for photography if you like that sort of thing. I'm having a great time. It's certainly, in terms of scenery, it's just absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend it. I'm going to get down to Tirano, I'm going to have some lunch, then I'm on the train again to Milan this afternoon. So stay tuned, keep watching, there's plenty more video content to come. Cheers for now. The train slows right down to cross the spectacular Brusio viaduct. Notice how steep this is as the train curves around, a full 360 degrees before passing underneath the tracks it's just travelled over. This was a real highlight of the trip for me. And we finished this leg of the journey, and indeed the Bernina Express route, by crossing the square just outside of the Santuario della Madonna di Tirano Roman Catholic Church, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Apologies if I haven't. After disembarking, I headed across the square to buy a ticket at the Trenitalia office to get me to Milan. This cost just €11.50 for the 2.5 hour journey I would be taking later on. In the meantime, I went for some lunch at one of the many bars in Tirano, and then I wandered back up the road to watch another Bernina Express train stop in the traffic as it left Tirano on its journey north. We left Tirano on a fairly run-down old loco-hauled train. A storm was brewing as we made our way towards Milan, past the shores of Lake Como. The views were still quite beautiful, despite the weather, and I would recommend sitting on the right-hand side of the train for this leg facing forward. It was nearly 6 o'clock by the time I reached Milan Central Station. But what an amazing building this was. The scale and the detail is so grand. I think it's probably the most impressive station concourse I've ever seen. A memorable arrival at my final destination, 11 hours after starting out so early in the morning. And I tell you what, it was worth every minute. Hi guys, that was the Bernina Express. I'll tell you what, it was a fantastic journey. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I certainly enjoyed travelling in it. It was absolutely brilliant. I'll never forget it. I'm actually in a hotel now in Milan. When I got to the end of the journey on the Bernina Express in Tirano, I took a Trenitalia train for 2.5 hours down to Milan. Complete contrast to the Bernina Express, by the way. The train was an absolute nightmare, really. There's no air conditioning, absolutely jam-packed. Bit of a tough ask, really, at the end of a long day. Anyway, I'm going to go out for some dinner. Hope you've enjoyed this, and stay tuned, guys, because I might have another video for you tomorrow when I take the fast train back up to Zurich from Milan Central. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please subscribe if you have. Leave any comments. That would be really appreciated. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers for now.